Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you. It is October 28th, 2025. Not November yet. We'll be here pretty soon. The sound in my headphones is way, way down. Normally it's so loud I don't even have to put the headphones on to hear anything, but it's down today, so now I'm just naturally just pushing a bunch of buttons. There we go. So the last one I pushed was the one that I needed. Sorry, Peak, and everybody else's settings that I may have messed up along the way, and that Peak would be Stephen Peak. He's the co-host. I'm TJ Walker, the other co-host, and our producer is producer Matt Childress. Hot start to today's show. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio. Peak, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Excited to be back in studio. Yesterday, getting to hear from Mark Stoops. Always a good time.
So much fun.
He's so many good things being said.
You media members needed to calm down in the background. You all were hooting and hollering a little too much.
You mentioned that yesterday. I got some messages from people yesterday that was like, when are y'all gonna start asking the hard questions? Like, what do you want us to ask? Hey, Mark, are you gonna step down? Hey, Mark, what the hell? I mean, what do you think? What's gonna happen?
I would say, what's your deal? Ask,
okay.
Hey, Mark, what's your deal, man? What's your
Mark,
deal?
are you done? Have you given up? Is this over? I don't know what the hard questions are.
He got super worked up with all the motivated questions early on in the summer and early media speaking opportunities.
It was a good coaches show yesterday too. Lots of energy and excitement brought to that. Took how many calls was it? They took from fans?
Flooded the phone lines, I heard.
Nonstop.
Down.
It was like the Kentucky postgame show on ESPN 680. Just caller after caller after caller, nonstop. Wait. Actually.
Hang on.
No, there were zero calls.
There were zero calls?
Not a call.
That's crazy.
Not a single call.
The fans can't ask the tough questions? Did they do that on purpose?
So my big question was, all right, no callers. There were no questions by callers on the Mark Stoops radio show last night. So it's one of three things, right? One, is this UK sports network now allowing I would imagine there'd be somebody that would have called in, whether it's somebody that's super angry that just wants to tell them off, or if there was a Mark Stoops butt slapper out there just to say, hey, dude, we still love you. I wanted to call in and tell you that. Or just prank callers.
They do.
I mean, good old-fashioned prank calls back in the 90s, they're really nothing better.
Have they just gotten that much better at screening calls?
Is your refrigerator running?
Man, C-SPAN used to get
None of
hit up
those.
with those. Yeah, no, I think that clearly they just said, let's just don't do callers today, right? Did you get that confirmed, by the way?
I had one DM from an account that I'm not overly familiar with that said I do have it on good authority that UK was told not to take any callers or even screen any callers. And I had another person reach out and say, after the Texas game, I did get through, but I was on the line for 40 minutes and they just didn't take any calls. So
that's so lame.
And then number three, maybe there were calls, but the screener just said, okay, these are all angry people or jokesters. We're pulling the plug. Maybe they had intentions to take calls, but after the screener got through one or two of them, was just like, this ain't gonna be the thing tonight. I told the story of when I was with Greg Brom on the late night sports buzz, and it was the last. He would say it was the last call-in sports show in the country. It's no more anymore. So if there is a late-night call-in sports show, you may be the only one in the country doing it. And I've told this story on Roll Call, but Peak, you're new, and Matt Childress, you're relatively new. I won't tell the whole thing, but it started at 11 o'clock. There was no pre-recording it because Greg Brom loved his live callers. And it was my first time being on the show. It was one of maybe like my third or fourth time ever on television for what it was worth. Here I am on WBNA It's 11 o'clock. It's the big leagues. It's the bright lights. And our first caller did a great job disguising that it was a prank caller. But at the end of the day, he just wanted to know how big Kobe Bryant's, what was.
Oh, okay.
And but he did a good job, like disguising
Did
it.
you all know the answer?
Make it no. I was left laughing. Brom did not find it as funny. And then we got another caller who did the whole rigmarole. Oh, I'm nervous. I'm not really used to calling into sports radio, but LeBron with his legacy, I'm just wondering if you think he's got the biggest blah 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 blah. And I started cracking up at that. I mean, twice in one show. I mean, it's only a 30-minute show.
Somebody set the precedent.
Oh yeah. Then there was a different voice, but like you could tell these guys were with each other.
Oh,
you may have even heard some laughter from the other dude in the background during the other call. And I'm cracking up. During the commercial break, Brom looks over at me and he's like, "You put your friends up to that?
Really?
Are those your hooligans?"
He was blaming you?
I was like, "No, I didn't have." Listen, I'm immature, but not immature enough to set up the boys to call into a show asking the
How long
appendage
ago?
size. This was like 2017, maybe.
Okay.
It was a long time ago.
All right.
It was
So
a
you're
good-
still like getting used to the whole radio
Sure.
thing and everything still
Yeah.
by that point.
Yeah, I don't think they ever took calls after that for what it was worth. And I was like, Greg, you can't go out like that. You can't have the LeBron and Kobe penis callers be your last taste of call-in radio, call-in TV. But that being said, maybe they got a couple of those and they just said, no calls tonight. We're pulling the plug on it. However way you break it down, it's a bad look for Stoops. It's a bad look for UK. Does he care in the slightest if he doesn't get callers on his Monday night call-in show? No, he doesn't. And he probably just laugh at people that get worked up about it while he's counting his hundreds. But it's all over. Like, what? You're not bringing back a coach that you're not taking calls in, or you shouldn't. Because if you can't even answer an occasional screen phone call on a coach's show, how is he going to survive an entire offseason? And the answer is he shouldn't. So you got to move on from it.
Do they have fans who can just write into the show?
Yeah, they take a lot of tweets. A lot of time leads will say, and this is on the
because that you can obviously screen a little
sponsored
better.
so-and-so.
But yeah, that whole point of that show is that fans have a voice, a direct line to the coach, right?
Yeah.
And what does that mean? I don't know. Does it make you feel better that you can say something to the guy in charge? I guess.
But it makes it kind of personal, right? It makes it feel like it's a lot more connective and close, little small community when you can say, hey, I got to ask Coach Stoops about the defensive philosophy against Auburn tonight.
Yeah. And I guess clearly, I mean, that's the state of the fan base. I was asking fans questions as they were pouring out of the stadium with about 25 minutes left to play in the game. And everybody, the consensus is this cannot continue. And there were a lot of people that you can see it on their face and how they were talking to me that they hated saying what they were saying because they appreciate everything Mark Stoops did. And that's kind of where I'm at, that I am aware of Kentucky football's history and how Kentucky football has gone most of my life, and that we got to have a few seasons to celebrate and to push for an SEC East. Well, they don't call it an SEC East title, do we? But to win the SEC East, play in the SEC championship game, Kentucky was right there a couple of times. Yeah, we appreciate all of that, but it is clear this is over now. And I've held on this season. I said I'm going to go into this positive, and let's see what happens. Let's let the games play out. And even after the loss to South Carolina, where Nick Roush did a rapid reaction and told everyone this is going to get ugly, I still was holding out, for whatever reason, some kind of hope that they might show us something. And even into the Texas game, but it's over. It's over, TJ. Like, you cannot run this back. And I'm finally 100% on board that I don't even understand the messaging that we've gotten this past week that was, well, let's see how these Auburn and Florida games turn out. What? Does that change anything?
No. If they won both of those games 90-0, Mark Stoops could keep his job.
If they won both of those games and beat Louisville, well, then I'll consider, I'll hear them out. But that it almost feels like these would be fluke wins against, well, you have one coach who's already been fired at Florida, and then you have Auburn, who, I mean, they're asking for votes of confidence. The head coaches.
Please clap.
Yes. What would that do? Why am I waiting? Why am I holding out to see what happens versus Auburn, who hasn't been very good, and Florida, who fired their coach? What are we doing? And to say that, well, we're not really toned down, because somebody was saying that on one of our message boards, that it was, a message from Kentucky, basically, like, we understand, we hear the fans, we hear you. Do you? Because you're just gonna roll this out again, like you're gonna roll this out against Florida, and you're gonna see what the stands look like. No excitement, no energy. That Tennessee Tech game is going to be sad.
That's the game that I want to take my kids to. I always try to pick one that I know is not going to be crowded.
Should get in for free.
That one could be just awkward almost.
They gave away a lot of tickets.
Probably hear my baby crying in the bleachers if I bring her to that one.
Yeah,
could be distracting to the players potentially. Something to, a couple of them have kids. They may think it's their own little squirts in the crowd. But I don't know. I still kind of want to go to that one. Honestly, I want to do a sign. I'm a big fan of a sign, but it is all over. There's the that must be the fat lady singing. Thanks, producer Matt. Good job.
I looked for like 5 minutes. That was the best I could get. The caption is just "the fat lady has sung."
I don't know if we got so much of her weight based on just that.
I don't see how I'm possibly able to do that.
Maybe if she's taking bites in between, she's singing, and then you just hear like a rapper in the background or something like that. But well done.
WRA.
We all agree that it's all over. Mark Stoops' offensive philosophy coming through on Kentucky Roll Call today. I love it. Keep.
Are these the scary clips he was looking for?
Yeah, let's talk about that too. I sent over the show sheet today. Shout out to AI for always putting all my thoughts together.
I love the recap of the Dodgers game too.
Oh yeah, I didn't even. I don't even know.
Sorry, go ahead. I don't mean to keep interrupting.
I really like the section where it talked about how sexy and tall and handsome T.J. Walker was.
It doesn't say that part. It doesn't say that part, but I guess it probably wouldn't surprise me. We do need to get it on the show sheet. But at the end, I just said, also, can we it's Halloween week. Let's have Halloween music and clips all week. And Matt said, Halloween clips. And I said, yeah, man, Halloween clips. And he said, got it. And I said, you need me to spell it out for you? That being said, it wasn't overly specific, Halloween clips. What did you think when you saw that? What would you think if you just said, hey, play some Halloween clips
from the movie Halloween?
Yeah, that was my first thought. Then I was like, no, maybe he's being more specific. Does he mean like clips from Halloween sporting events? Is that like how many times has Kentucky football or basketball played on Halloween? Like, I don't.
Dude, just the Halloween clips. I don't need to just play the GD Halloween clips.
Whatever you think Halloween clips are, just go for it.
I've got some. I'm ready to go.
It's the classic Jim Halpert in The Office. Give me a rundown.
Yeah,
a rundown. Just
what would a rundown done for you?
Yeah. What would your rundown look like?
Don't overcomplicate it, producer Matt. Just the Halloween clips, buddy.
Okay, I got you.
But I do love Halloween. It truly is one of my favorite holidays, and so I get excited. It being on a Friday too. That's great. So we'll get you in the Halloween spirit with classic Halloween clips throughout the show today. No, I think a fun sign for the Tennessee Tech game, just because nobody's going to be there to see it anyways, would be like on one side you say, thanks, Stoops.
Okay.
But you just put a period at the bottom of it. So it's like a little like,
it is your birthday.
Thanks, Stoops. But it's also like, hey, thanks, Stoops.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to put an exclamation point. You just put the period, okay?
Yeah.
And then on the back side, it says, go to Texas.
A&M.
No, but it just said thanks, Stoops, with a period, and that's all you
Please
get.
go to Texas just to hang out.
On the one side, it's like we are appreciative. It would be fun to be able to kind of like have a farewell.
That's what I said yesterday.
It would be nice to be able to do that. On the other hand, I don't think we're going to do that.
Nope, not going to happen.
And
It's not going to happen.
then when you don't, and it's the middle of the season, but when you see other programs firing their coaches, it's easy to get a little nervous. But when Mitch Barnhart, you force the fans to pick their, hey, you draw on the line of the sand. Are you happy with the state of the football program, or do you want something different? Everybody's on the one side of the sand. Just about 99.9% of the people are on, we need something different.
Yep.
But until you let us know that the majority has won, we don't have to be nasty, but we need to stay on our side of the sand. We need to stay on our line. And the second that you let us know that we've won in this battle of the football program, the future of the football program, then everybody can kind of mingle. And then it can be the post-game handshake line where you can talk and you can do the jersey swap and you can talk about the good times of the game or the good memories of Mark Stoops' football era at Kentucky. But not until we know that we've won on the correct side of the sand, which is something's got to be done, a big change at the head coaching position. And once you do that, I think that this can be not nearly as toxic. I think you can have a little fun with it.
Yeah.
I think you can get a little enthusiasm, not so much for this year, although not impossible even. And then you could do something. Hey, come out and thank Stoops for all the great memories. We're going to have a video board play, his a little montage of all the great moments.
Maybe even allow people to call in to the Mark Stoops show the next week and ask him, hey, Mark, who would you hire to replace you?
Yeah.
That might be a good question.
Sure. And then, maybe you get so cordial, it's like we like what you do most of the time defensively, not so much this past Saturday, but come on for a defensive coordinator.
No. Sorry.
Saints have informed rookie quarterback Tyler Shuck that he will be their starter moving forward. Spencer Rattler on the bench. Producer Matt, the former Card. I really thought he was going to start the year. So I knew he was going to get his chance at some point this year, but I really thought he was going to be the day one starter. It may have been a better thing for Shuck, how it all worked out, all things considered. Unfortunately, it's such a bad offensive situation in New Orleans. It probably doesn't really matter who the quarterback is, but what's your take on Tyler Shuck being named the starter for the Saints?
I mean, like you said, it probably wasn't too bad for him to not start because, going into the season, he and Spencer Rattler had almost identical statistics. It was like, I don't know who to play, so I guess you start the guy who played last year already. And so I'm happy for him. Like you said, this season is a wash for the Saints already. Even though they're one of the best offenses in the league, their defense is terrible. They can't put up enough points to go up against any really good teams. If he does bad, he does bad. If he does good, then that's great. I mean, it's not going to really derail their season anymore that it already has. So, I mean, it's kind of you can't lose situation.
Yeah, if you're Shuck, I guess there's a can't lose situation in the sense if it's a total and complete disaster, it could hurt your future in the NFL. But, yeah, nobody's expecting anything out of New Orleans offense. So I agree. They're 1-7. So you go out there, you win some games, or even you just put up some decent numbers. I get what you're saying in that regard. But we'll talk some NFL today. Anybody watch what were you all watching last night? The Sports Equinox. Did we talk about the Sports Equinox?
I don't think so, but I was watching the World Series up until about 1:30, and then I was like, I'm going to check it out.
Well, if you want to last longer, Gameday Men's Health.
There you go.
Speaking of lasting long, that piece of gum you gave me before the show lasted about 12 seconds.
15 seconds.
I had a little present for the fellas in the station today, Scoots and Peak and producer Matt, and I said, I'm not Rick Pitino, but I can make your next 15 seconds pretty good. And they all got pretty wide-eyed, and Scoots was like, oh, no, not again, not here, not in public. And I whipped out some Double Bubble.
I was kind of disappointed it was just gum you were giving me. I was like, okay.
How many times have you used that line, TJ?
It was actually the go-to in college, as a matter of fact. But I didn't have any gum.
Which is even before, I think, the Rick Pitino news came out. Oh, no. That was, never mind. I got that mixed up. That was, what, 09?
I remember where I was when I was reading the Matt Jones tweets when he was at the trial, I guess. Yeah. And it was just like, this can't be real. This can't be real, what I'm reading right here. But it was very much real. And Rick Pitino would go on to coach U of L to a couple Final Fours that would later be vacated and a national championship that would later be vacated. So that wasn't the end for Rick Pitino during that embarrassing testimonial, cross examination.
Yeah, it's weird that
I don't know
also
exactly what
Matt
part
was
of
like one of the only media members who even went to that.
Super weird.
What in the world?
I mean,
was everybody else doing?
imagine a UK or U of L coach today on trial for something just similar or something in the same realm of similar.
I think people just didn't know what to do with social media. Like they didn't know.
I'm just shocked there wasn't like traditional journalists there.
That's what I'm saying. That too, but because it's one of those deals where you can go in, but you can't bring any cameras in, and you can't even bring your phone in. And so I know Matt's story is that he hears that and he writes it down, and then he's like, I got to get out of here and get to my phone to tweet that out.
Yes,
and
that's how I remember it as well. I think they had sketch artists as well. And
so,
again,
yeah, that's the only thing
the sketch Rick Pitino is just the guy at the start of Tales from the Crypt.
Is that online anywhere?
Oh, that'd be good for a Halloween clip, by the way. Are you familiar with Tales from the Crypt, producer Matt?
No.
Okay. Google Tales from the Crypt, and then just do the first Google image and tell me that guy doesn't look just like Rick Pitino. But this is also like 2011 Rick Pitino before he got a lot of work done.
Was it?
I see a resemblance.
Yeah.
Definitely at least cousins.
Yeah.
Maybe second or third.
Again, he looks a lot better now than he did. And isn't that kind of weird? That, like, how old's Rick Pitino? Probably 73.
He's gotten some work
give or
done.
take, Corey Price. But, like, that he looks better now than he did 15 years ago.
Yeah, no, I agree. But like I said, he's obviously got some work done. The hair is black still. I don't know. I mean, he looks all right. He looked all right at Big Blue Madness. We'll see him again on December 20th.
Producer Matt, Tales from the Crypt, this guy would start and end the episode. He was just like your narrator, if you will. He was like your host. And so the episode would start, and it'd be this guy, and he'd be like, "Hey, children, come around for a spooky story." And I would be like 4 or 5 years old, and my parents would make me watch this. So you wonder why I'm so messed up. Here we go. Here's my rosebud.
Wasn't that was kind of an adult show, wasn't it?
I mean, it was terrifying. Obviously, it stuck with me. I'm 34 years old, and I still have nightmares. But and then like the story would be something not nearly as scary as this guy actually was. And then it'd come back to him and be like, "Well, hello, children. Did you like that story?" And it just classic Tales from the Crypt.
Wait, are you talking about the animated version or you're talking about the actual version?
Yeah, that was on TV.
Why did I think it was like kind of like?
Do you remember it differently?
No, I do. I just don't. I didn't remember. I didn't know it was like for kids. I actually didn't know that.
No, I think it was like for young. Like I think it was for like 12 and 13-year-olds.
Okay. I do remember some of the episodes.
Got to get off Tales of the Crypt talk, but I just don't know where to go now. I'm stuck in it. I'm stuck in Tales of the Crypt.
I might have to check out one of these episodes tonight. We were doing the what's the show from Nickelodeon, the scary show?
Tales from Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Are You Afraid of the Dark? Yeah.
That was all. Did you watch that, producer Matt?
What was it again?
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
That one I've actually heard of. I've never seen it, though.
That was always a classic that they'd end, like, the credits with them pouring water on the campfire, and it'd make that cool sound. Everybody do it with me in your car or the podcast listeners. 1, 2, 3. And then the smoke would go up really cool.
With that cheesy text.
And I remember the only Afraid of the Dark episode I remember was the Cold Lost Girl. Do you all remember that one? Producers Matt, shut up. I've never seen any of these shows, old timer, all right?
I was a Goosebumps kid growing up.
Goosebumps was great as well.
Yeah, that was another one.
TV or the books? I was more of a book kid to show how big of a nerd I was.
The books were better, but I did watch some of the TV shows.
Yeah.
The worst piece of Halloween media I've ever consumed, but I still loved it, is was it Ernest Got Scared? The Ernest movies growing up. Do you ever see those?
I never watched those. I'm familiar with them, but wasn't there an Ernest Goes to Summer Camp and Ernest did everything?
Yeah, Ernest Saves Christmas. Ernest goes to the military or whatever.
Was it just Ernest's Halloween or Ernest Spook?
It was something like that. Ernest gets scared or something like that. I'll have to figure it out.
Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yes.
That's even better.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
When, he ends up killing the monster by throwing Miak at him.
Well, spoiler.
Little spoiler.
Guess I don't need to watch it anymore. I don't remember that one. No,
it was like the Eastern Kentucky version of National Lampoons.
The only Goosebump book that I can remember reading, and I read several, but the only one that stuck with me was the amusement park one. Ring a bell for anybody else?
Yes, yeah, I read almost all of those, and I love the Choose Your Own Adventures.
Oh, those were great.
Those are great, yeah.
That was revolutionary.
I used to have I had stacks of them, and I guess we gave them away to one of my neighbors when I was little bit younger and never got him back.
It's spooky season, folks. We'd love to hear from you. This is just a kind of a random Tuesday show. We do have plenty of sports to get to. We are still going to talk Monday Night Football, the World Series game from last night, and your text on the Game Day Men's Health text line. We weren't great about it yesterday, so when we return, we're going to dive right into your text. Louisville plays an exhibition game tonight. Kentucky in 2 days. Football news, a lot to get to on today's Kentucky Roll Call with Stephen Peak, TJ Walker, producer Matt Childers, back after this. conversations. You go straight into Michael Myers getting blasted in the head 16 times.
You guys really don't know how hard it was to find a clip in this movie where it wasn't just a woman running and just like the whole movie. Like it was every clip, every single. Like I watched like maybe 30 minutes of Halloween again and was like, oh my god, this is really the whole movie.
Well, let's see what you settled on instead. I think I hear Dr. Loomis. Go on. Oh,
There we go.
You missed the main point. Hold on, I'll go back for 1 second. This was the 90% of the movie.
As a matter of fact, it was.
And there it was, the only 2 words spoken in the whole movie.
Wow.
There wasn't huffing and puffing and moaning and groaning.
Oh, all right. Halloween clips are not disappointing. Producer Matt, you keep the Halloween clips coming all week. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. Wherever you get your podcast, just search for Kentucky Roll Call. We're live on the YouTube. Say what's up to us there. And we're going to read the Game Day Men's Health text line because Game Day Men's Health is where it's going on. The redefining men's wellness, no shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, sexual performance therapy. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Defining a new era in men's health. I know so many people that just want to start to lose weight, but they have a tough where or what even to do. Let Game Day Men's Health help you. They'll have a plan set in place. They'll make it where you're achieving your goals weekly, and you'll really be impressed with the results. Heard Scooter before the show saying he was talking, maybe it wasn't this show, but heard him talking about Game Day Men's Health, and he may look into it's a smart idea. It will make it manageable. You can't just snap your fingers with some of this stuff, but Game Day Men's Health will tell you how to get. You'll be in and out in just about 15 minutes. Game Day Men's Health. It's your health, folks. It's your body. You only get one of them. You only get one of them. Take care of it and learn more about it. Game Day Men's Health. We're going to go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com. The text line. A texter says there were rumors that the call-in show in 2017 was the entire reason that Wenyen Gabriel went pro. He figured he could hang with the best of them. Ryan from Freedom Hall.
Heyo.
Hope you're doing all right, Ryan from Freedom Hall. South End Josh here. Producer Matt, do you and the Myers guy take back your horrendous, silly takes about UK's roster yet? Really astounding how you all said we overpaid for a bunch of role players while U of L laid a giant egg Friday night at home. Still no inside presence on Floyd Street. U of L fans talking out their rear ends about UK while willingly refusing to acknowledge any deficiency in their team, only to turn out so wrong. A tradition as old as time, says South End Josh. Producer Matt?
It's a preseason game. Gonna wait till see what Kentucky does in the season.
Did anything worry you about it? Is there anything that, I mean, it is a preseason game, but you concerned about anything from what you saw?
The inside presence did concern me a little bit. The rest of the play, I was, it was whatever, bad shooting night, whatever you want to call it. The inside presence was okay, somebody either has to step up, Safru needs to step up, or we need to have a conversation of we need to run specific sets to help give these dudes help. How much has Pat Kelsey put on Case and Pryor's shoulders this year? Those were where my main questions were the inside play. I'll give them that.
And I do think that was probably nobody said U of L's backcourt had question marks going into the season. Even the biggest UK butt slappers were saying, all right, U of L's backcourt's pretty legit. The questions were around the front court, and it is one game. It is against a good team, a well-coached team. Bodinga is a tough matchup for anybody, especially a Louisville front court that's trying to figure out some answers. It's Khalifa's first real test back, right? I know that he's been healthy for a good bit, but that's his kind of getting back, shaking off the rust sort of game. This is Fru's first ever college experience after so much international experience. So I do think that there's wiggle room for, hey, it can be okay. But I'm with you, producer Matt. It was a little concerning.
Ali Khalifa looked terrible.
I don't know if I'd say terrible.
Okay, terrible is a stretch.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say terrible.
I mean, he had 5 turnovers.
He looked.
The dude had like 6 of the cleanest passes I've ever seen a center have in a college basketball game.
Yeah, so like you got to take the good with the bad with Khalifa.
Okay.
He's a. I don't think he looked like a good college. I don't think he looked like a good college big, but he did some solid things out there. But that's what you're getting out of Khalifa. You're getting a passer. You're not getting a banger.
Well, we'll see. I mean, is he forcing some of those passes? I mean, I know you can live with it if he had 3 assists.
He definitely was forcing some of them. I'll give you that. I said this the other day. Somebody asked me the same question as how I felt about it. I felt like that was like Louisville playing their Louisville Live game, and Kansas went out and like played basketball. If that makes any sense, we saw a lot of like iso ball. We saw a lot of like single player. Like, hey, Pat Kelsey was like, hey, go out there and do what you like to do.
I think that's actually totally fair.
So Louisville didn't try.
No,
That's not what I'm saying at all. No,
and I think it's a fair point. Like, why did Kansas look like a more organized team than Louisville did? And I agree with you. It almost seemed like Pat Kelsey was just like, guys, go out there and play. Just have fun. Go out there and do your thing. When you have Conwell, jacking up 21 shots and Mikel Brown throwing up 15, it was almost just like, guards, you do your thing. Bigs, you know how we like to run this offense, or maybe you don't, but figure it out. I agree. It looked like it was not very organized. For better or for worse.
It was the way they ran like different lineups. Like you brought up Ollie. Like Ollie went in and hit the first thing he did was sit at the top of the key and throw like 5 straight backdoor passes. And I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. That this is the exact same play we're gonna run until it doesn't work. Like, and then like you said, like Ryan Conwell took 21 shots. Michael Brown took 15 to 17. Like Isaac McNeely just like he only sat behind the 3-point line. Like it just. And that's not me making an excuse. That's not me saying like
is that not how they're gonna play?
Well,
that's their style. That's how Pat Kelsey wants to play. I'm not.
I was actually gonna say the same thing, but I think you have to. There's a fine line between all right, how much of this is just what they're actually going to do, but they didn't do it well on Friday.
I think they did. I think the biggest thing, and I think the thing you can take away as a Louisville fan is Ryan Conwell gonna shoot 3 of 12 from 3 every night, and is Mikel Brown Jr. How many times is he going to shoot 2 of 15 from the field, 2 of 10 from behind the arc? Yeah, I mean, if I was a Louisville fan and you had a great second half, maybe you just think, okay, well, that was a bad shooting night. I said the same thing about Purdue. I don't think Purdue's going to shoot that poorly in many games this year. So that made them look like, maybe a top 10, top 15 team, not so much the number 1 team in the country. You can say the same thing about Louisville. And is Kansas going to get that kind of production out of Darren Peterson, or that kind of efficiency? I guess I could easily see him scoring over 20 points per game.
That was an incredible
6 of 10 from
by
3.
Peterson.
He was insane.
That was just fun. Like, it looked like he wasn't even trying to throw up 23-foot shots, and they were just nothing but net, hardly touching anything. It looked effortless from that dude. That was impressive. Producer Matt, this is your team. I want you to have all the opportunity in the world for any rebuttals and anything you want to say about your cards.
No, I mean, like, it was a bad performance. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I watched the game and was uber happy to see us lose by 8 to Kansas and everything. But, I mean, I said the earlier week, it's still just a preseason game. Like, they didn't look like they were running a lot of sets, like, genuinely, like, intricate pieces of offense. Like, we didn't run a single inbounds play, if I remember. Like, and I'm not saying this to make an excuse. It literally looked like Kansas just came ready, more prepared to play a legitimate basketball game, and we just didn't.
But I think that's worrisome in its own right? Like, yes, it is October, and it's an October exhibition game, but Kansas has Final Four expectations, and this is one of their least anticipated teams, although they have got to change that with Darren Peterson. He is one of truly the best players to wear a Kansas jersey in a good bit, and obviously Kansas has Andrew Wiggins. I mean, the star power that's gone through Kansas speaks for itself, obviously, and some of their best teams are the ones that are a little bit more balanced. But why were they running plays? Why were they doing inbounds plays? Why were they more prepared where U of L
couldn't give me an answer to that?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Like, I'm not the head coach. I have no idea. Like, would I have liked to see that stuff?
Hold on now.
Yeah?
You sure? You're about the same size.
Oh, pretty close. But
I'm not even trying to take a shot at you. All right? You're bigger in stature, both physically. You know what? You're an all-around dude, producer Matt. I think that's fair to worry, though, about, like, all right, well.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, like, I didn't see a single thing in that game that can't be fixed. So I'm not going to sit here and have a freak out moment on Kentucky Roll Call on October 28th about a preseason basketball game.
Be fun if you did, though. Be good radio if you did, if you just had a.
Let's see how the Bucknell game goes, and maybe I will tomorrow.
You are being too rational of a fan, Matt. It's October. We play exhibition games just so that we can have overreactions. The Cats are winning number 9. I've seen enough. I don't even need to see the game on Thursday. Let's go ahead and make space in the rafters, and let's go ahead and start looking at hotels in Indianapolis, TJ, because we got to get up there. Like, you got to come up to Indianapolis in April.
I will be there when the Cats are there.
We do a roll call from remote.
You can that there's no doubt about that. When Kentucky next time they're in Indy, I will be there with them.
The remote on a Monday, that first Monday in April, is going to be so sweet. In
one of my first ever radio shows. Well, I shouldn't say one of my first ever radio shows, but I started at the Big X. I started doing some just like test shows to like see if they just want to see if I could work for free for an hour and not be terrible. So in December of 2013, they were like, hey, why don't you just come in and do an hour and see how it goes? And it went well enough. There's no way that it was entertaining, but it went well enough where they were like, all right, starting in January, you're going to have your own show. And it was going to be the start of something, an unbelievable career. And here I am 12 years later at the same spot. And I wouldn't change a thing about it. I love every second about it. But that was 2014. And I was still living in Lexington, at least part-time or some of the time. And I remember doing a show in my living room, National Championship Monday, before the UConn game. We did the Sweet 16 show. That was on a Thursday. No, that was on a Friday. That was on a Friday. We did the show in a hotel in Indy before the UK U of L Sweet 16 game. I have done March Madness radio shows on the road, but that one in 2014 was hilarious. I mean, it must have just been awful, awful radio. But I had, like, my friends, and we were just in the living room going around. It was just, like, talking shop, UK, UConn.
That's fun.
And, like, it was some of your college friends that just are casual sports fans. They were like, we've made it this far. We've hit all these big shots. We're destined to win. That was, like, the level of analysis. But, yeah, I
felt that way.
Everybody felt that way.
I think I tweeted out that morning, man, that's weird. That's the last time I'm going to wake up with Kentucky only having 8 national championships. Oof.
It's on you, Pete.
11 years.
It's on you.
Still waiting.
I remember, we had bought, like, all the, the bottles for celebrating and whatnot. And some of my friends went out and, like, partied, and I was just like, it just doesn't feel right. Like, I know what it's like to party for a national championship. I don't want to – in hindsight, I probably would have because, life, you only live life once. Who cares? Go out and hang out with your friends. Mm-hmm. So, naturally, I just went and I broke the bottles in the backyard just because it was more therapeutic to smash things. But I'll never forget my wife, who at the time was my girlfriend. She was like, you all are going to be right back in a Final Four. You'll play for a national championship game again. And I was like, you just can't take these things for granted. No. You'll never know when you'll be back in a national championship game. And sure enough, the Cats have not been back in the national championship game ever since, although they did go to the Final Four the next year.
Yeah. It's taking from this exhibition, and we'll see more on Thursday. The Kentucky fan base is going to be very obnoxious this year. I think that is what I took away the most because this team is going to be good. They should be competing for the SEC regular season title, something that we haven't had since 2020, and they should be competing in Nashville for an SEC tournament championship, something that we haven't had since 2018. It feels like, and I asked Drew Franklin this because the crowd was unbelievable on Friday. I mean, I told Purdue people, this is what Rupp is like for big games, like the biggest of games, and that was an exhibition. And I asked Drew, I was like, what is this? Is this what it was like when Kentucky was really good? And that's what everybody's been telling me. I didn't get a chance to be in that building really very much from 2010 to 2016 when I started working at WHAS, getting to cover the team, and it was so electric in there. And then afterwards, it has not felt like that. This is my 4th season with KSR. This is my 9th season getting to cover Kentucky basketball. It has not felt like this. The fan base has not been like this. So, producer Matt, I'm going to apologize ahead of time for the Kentucky fan base, we are going to probably be very obnoxious and tough to deal with this year.
I'm going to tell you that it's not something that surprises me or I haven't experienced already. So I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Well,
nothing new, I guess.
This is a sweet spot for Kentucky fans. And I feel like this is important because there's not this I think there's probably more pressure coming from me than I've put on a team since Cal's last with Shepherd and Dillingham, but before then a good bit. But it's a sweet spot for Kentucky fans right now. There's not this, oh my goodness, if you don't win it all this year, you got to fire the coach. The fan base is going to be divided. Everybody's in on Pope. Everybody's in on Pope for the foreseeable future. Things can change quickly in sports, so if this year is just, if bleep hits the fan, then talk to me in April or May, and things could be a little bit different, but even that is a good while away. The fan base is united in loving this team and feeling good about what they're going to be able to accomplish. You can even have fun little narratives among the fan base of, ooh, I'm more into Denzel Aberdeen. No, Colin Chandler's the backup guard that's going to be better for this group. I'm not so sure Jalen Lowe's got the shot. Like, you can have fun discussion amongst the team that isn't big picture. Do you need to fire somebody? Right now, everything's healthy, and it's fun. You have a great schedule. It's competitive, and you're probably going to get a lot of wins, but I don't think you're going to have the undefeated talk. It's a fun schedule. It's a fun team. You like the coach. You want the coach to be around for a good bit. There's not this pressure that you absolutely have to cut down the nets in March, although I think with this team there's probably more pressure than I sense from the rest of the fan base. But maybe that's just once you get the season started, peak.
Yeah.
That will take care of itself. And I think you're probably right about it. But we're in a spot as a fan base that without winning a national championship, I'm a bit surprised to find ourselves in this spot. But it's a really healthy spot. It's totally opposite from where the football fan base is. But that being said, this is nice. I think UK fans, one, deserve this, and two, should really just appreciate it. I don't want to be somebody to say, just don't enjoy the ride. Hell no. This is a radio show. We're going to take it day by day, baby, and we're going to overreact, and we're going to have a blast with it. But I'm excited just for the season as a whole. I won't get totally upset with one loss. Now, if they start to stack up, we'll have to reevaluate how we're viewing the season as a whole. But I'm excited for November. I'm excited for the games in December. There's a long break between December 23rd, I think, and like January 3rd. I'm not so excited about that. January when conference play comes back. All right, it's time to win an SEC championship again. I'm pumped for that. There's a lot of great games. The road trip to Fayetteville to take on Calipari again. By the way, got to talk a little bit about Calipari.
Ooh,
Arkansas is dominant, folks. They are dominant. I would put some Final Four wagers on Arkansas, or even maybe sprinkle a little national championship wager. And just to finish the overall point, though, the program's in a great spot. Just try to enjoy the ride. I know I'm going to.
Well, right. To that point, I said after the 2014-15 season, I said I got to do a better job of enjoying this stuff because it felt like that entire time I was just waiting on them to lose and to blow the perfect season, and it took all the way to the Final Four. And when it was over, I was like, why didn't I just enjoy that? Why didn't I just enjoy the day-to-day of what that season was? So if I get another shot at having just an unbelievable year. Same with 2011-12. It was kind of like they got to do it. They have to do it with this team. And now with this group, with this current Kentucky roster, I'm going to try to enjoy the season. And I get to see it up close, and that's going to be a lot of fun. To your Calipari point, we've been doing this since 2022, 23, going into that year. Calipari peaks in the preseason. So that team looked good, but I mean, the last 4 Calipari teams have looked good before the actual game started to count. So I'm going to hold out on Arkansas being a true Final Four favorite or strong contender until I see them play a couple of games in the regular season, because we saw this last year. We saw this with Kentucky in 2023-24, and we saw it in 22-23, where they look really good in the preseason. Now, granted, they're playing actual teams, but they played Kansas last year, and then they got to play them again in the tournament. Beat them both times, correct? Right? Calipari knocking out Bill Self.
It's True.
But they did look good, TJ, and I don't know if Kentucky fans are going to go into the season with the same animosity towards Cal. I kind of wondered that going in. Now I think if they are actually that good, if they are 1 or 2 in the SEC, yeah, I think Kentucky fans will find it in themselves to hate Calipari for one more season. Well, because if he's made them good, not just like last year, there was when they were 0-5. I was like, we're going to come into Rupp Arena and win this game. They started out 0-5, correct? They won a game. They were like 1-5, I think, when they came in to Rupp. But I was like, they're going to suck this whole time, and then they'll beat Kentucky. But there was a little bit of like, man, that was our guy, and everyone is clowning on him right now, including us, and it feels kind of weird. But if they get good, Kentucky fans are going to hate Cal this year. I'm not saying that they should. I'm just saying it's going to happen. You said that
they hated him last year, so I think they may just have a different definition of hate, which is subjective to begin with.
Well, it's sports hate. It's sports hate. They don't actually.
Yes, I think it'll be similar to last year, where there's going to be a portion of the fan base that really, really dislikes him.
But if he's good, but he wasn't even good last year, and they felt like that. I think if he's good this year, it'll be even worse.
But it was also months removed.
Sure, and that was Kentucky's team. And so now everyone was kind of like, we can't let them be good.
No more than I think about it. I think things have cooled a little bit with Cal.
I totally agree with that.
Your point is if they're a top 5, top 10 team, they'll heat right back up.
Yes.
Yeah, no, you're probably right about that.
Because that was the Pitino thing. He was making Louisville good.
Yeah, no, you're probably right about that. And the thing is, they're so good and they're deep. And I like Kentucky's roster better, but I would say Arkansas is similar. They're maybe not as deep, but doesn't really matter if you go 9 or 8, 9 versus 11.
Is he going to start DJ Wagner?
I don't know. DJ Wagner has actually been just kind of okay in the exhibition games, and a lot of other people have been a lot better. So once again, DJ Wagner finds himself in this kind of oddball situation.
So he's going to start DJ Wagner again.
It worked out for him last year because Boogie Flan got hurt. So it was like, okay, John L. Davis and Wagner, you guys are the guys. But in 2 years ago, he was the odd man out with Dillingham and Shepard, but Cal didn't want to admit it. He was probably the odd man out last year, but with the injury to Boogie, he was able to get himself in. He could find himself in the odd man out situation again and peak. You're exactly right. Cal could once again not care that he's the odd man out and still just squeeze him in the odd position all the same. That will be fascinating to see. But like Carter Knox, he's a good player. Billy Richmond, he was who I was most heartbroken when the whole thing.
Really?
I was like, I wanted him. He's just like my type. He's like a DeAndre Liggins. He's just my type of player. A nasty freak athlete, except he's better offensively. And every highlight I've seen from this Arkansas, and I got to watch a good chunk of both of their games, they're just dunking everything. They are just dunking everything. Memphis is going to be cheeks this year. They're not good. No real concern about, Arkansas should have blown them out, and the game was actually closer than it should have been. Memphis was up at halftime, but Arkansas blew them out. But Arkansas blew out Memphis, and they blew out Cincinnati. Do I think Cincinnati's going to be great? I think they'll be okay in the Big 12. They won't make the tournament, but they'll finish like 8th in the Big 12. But Cincinnati beat Michigan with Yaxel Lindenberg scoring 30 points. So it wasn't like Michigan was just going through the motions. So Cincinnati beats Michigan, and then they go on the road and play Arkansas, and they get waxed. I mean, they get dominated. By the way, Kirk Carissa for Cincinnati, he has shot 17 shots in exhibition games, 16 of them three-pointers. Or maybe it's 17 and 18. But he's just letting it rip from deep. That dude's just living the life. He's in America. He's making money playing basketball. He doesn't really seem to care so much about the wins or losses. Hour number 2, we're going to keep the basketball discussion and your text in the Game Day Men's Health text line. Let's see what Halloween music producer Matt's got for us in this segment. Okay, Otego away on the Hoops Hall Jerry West Award preseason top 20 watch list. Way to go, Otego away. You did it, buddy. You did it. What is that for the best shooting guards of the college basketball season? Yes, it's the best shooting guards. Welcome back. Hour number 2, Kentucky Roll Call, Big X Sports Radio, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. Stephen Peak, producer Matt Childress. I'm TJ Walker. Hope you're having a great Tuesday. Get your text into the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. After unintentionally neglecting it a bit yesterday, we're going to make sure that we hit it, and we hit it hard today. So get those texts in. Any comments, questions, concerns, send them on in. Yeah, the Monday night game was a snoozer. It was close at halftime, but I went to bed super early last night, so I admittedly didn't stay up for any of them. That baseball game, insane. If you're a fan of either one of those teams or if you're just huge into baseball, October baseball, that was probably an all-timer. Is that on the list of best World Series games of all time, Peak?
Yeah, it's up there.
Got to be there.
I wonder what the Toronto fans were thinking as it crept towards 3 a.m.
What time did it officially end?
I think right before midnight on the West Coast.
Okay. Yeah, we have a buddy that
Pacific
lives in LA in the fantasy league, but he is like he doesn't care about sports really at all, out of all. And he had one text into the group, and he's like, "Oh man, I thought that was a home run." And I got to see what time that was at, but it was very, very late in the middle of the night. Producer Matt, did you watch any of that one?
Did not.
Yeah, that was at 1:26. He said, "Just unreal." I thought for sure that was an HR.
I actually didn't watch like any sports last night.
Was it dinner night at the girlfriend's?
No, she did come over. We were watching the John Wayne Gacy TV show on Peacock.
You can't get enough of that.
That I was watching.
they've
I was
got
watching the
producer
Ed
Matt.
Gein one the other day. This is a different one.
Oh, okay. Well, you're still just watching a bunch of murder shows.
I mean, it's interesting.
What's interesting?
Learning about the investigation of John Wayne Gacy. You know.
Well, I want to hear more.
I mean, the dude kidnapped children, did things, and then murdered them.
Oh, geez, producer Matt, it's really took the show in a different direction.
Wow.
I was waiting for the clips I have. Lots of murder.
What song was that going out on the break?
That was the Halloween Town theme song.
The Halloween.
Not realizing I'm not remembering that so few Halloween movies have actual lyrics in their songs. It's just sounds. It's just melodies.
Hey,
I'm like, this is kind of boring.
We're just gonna get some creaking doors.
Nightmare Before Christmas. This is Halloween. That one has lyrics.
Yeah.
Saving that one.
Ghostbusters, that has lyrics.
Yeah.
Saving that one. Those are the easy ones.
Werewolves of London, that has lyrics.
This is the season of the witch.
Yeah, that has lyrics. Paint It Black, that has lyrics.
Is that it?
No, there's plenty.
Okay.
I got them loaded up for this week.
Oh,
Nice.
Well, until Friday. I'm not here Friday.
what are your Halloween plans? You're going to be in Blacksburg. What's going on in Blacksburg for Halloween?
I don't know. Maybe they have a trunk or treat going on down there, something like that. Maybe all the Virginia Tech fans, dress up for that game and get ready to.
They were there for opening kickoff.
If you dress up for head coach, they may let you just do it.
I think they should.
It's not impossible.
Like, guys, I'm doing this for free. No NIL.
You're not stopping anywhere though. Is the game on Friday night?
No, it's Saturday.
Okay, so
we're
you're
staying there Friday night.
Okay, you're getting there. I would recommend staying somewhere else.
Oh, we're not staying in Blacksburg.
Where are you staying?
I have to remember.
Well, you got to go somewhere for Halloween.
I don't really celebrate Halloween.
Well, it's a holiday.
It's a celebration.
It's a holiday.
It's definitely not.
First off, you would have zero interest in being in a random town and going to like a Halloween party?
I mean, who in Blacksburg is going to invite me to a Halloween party?
I'm sure like a local establishments are having Halloween parties. The festival, there may be some like town outing.
Well, after the game, we're just heading home.
Okay, but that's on Saturday.
the game's on Saturday.
We're talking about Friday night, Halloween.
Probably not.
What is up with you and Halloween?
Not interested in it. It's boring.
What? It's like the only other holiday where we put stuff in our house.
The most unique holiday out there.
It's just not for me. I don't like it.
Wait, what do you didn't? What don't you like about it?
Let's just do a little. Let's dissect this. All right.
Okay.
Do an autopsy of your dislike for Halloween.
We're staying in Christiansburg, Virginia, right outside Blacksburg.
You're staying in
looking it up.
Christiansburg.
Christiansburg is what it's called.
All right. Well, does your Halloween hate come from maybe you just being a good Christian?
No.
But that's an all Halloween.
All right, well, I don't know if I liked
Saints
I don't know
Day.
if I liked your tone and the way that you said. I don't know if I like your tone there.
I went to private school growing up, and then after 4th grade, I kind of haven't been a great. When I say great Christian, I mean I just haven't gone to church in a very
Okay,
long
but
time.
it's not your Halloween dislike isn't a religious base.
No.
Because you do find some of those people, and you find, it's not that it's a big deal. That's all right if that's the way you go. I was just curious. Okay, so it doesn't come from a religious background or something along those lines. You just think it's boring.
I think it's boring. I love scary movies. I love like the Halloween theme and aspect, but I just think that
They're even doing stuff in Christianburg.
Halloween is just boring.
You looked up.
I looked it
you
up.
Looked up Halloween night
Local
in Chris-
businesses will be handing out candy. There's a whole thing in their little
but-
downtown.
okay, well, I'm
You
a
can't
grown
re-
man.
You can't really trick or treat.
No, but it's yeah, I get that that's for the kids, but I'm saying there's a whole their whole downtown is all
Maybe John Wayne
Halloweened
Gacy
out.
would dress up as a clown and go, partake.
Dress up as John Wayne Gacy.
Got to move on from
Yeah,
John Wayne
yeah.
Gacy.
I don't think that's a
Producer
good
Matt.
Halloween choice.
You hate Halloween, but you really like John Wayne Gacy, and I just think that's a little weird. You
don't like John Wayne
how many
Gacy.
more times are we going to bring it back to John Wayne Gacy today? You're going to be talking about Louisville's interior defense, and somehow it's going to come back to John Wayne. You got to do something though, buddy. Okay.
I'll go to a bar or something.
Yeah, go get a beer. Put on you could dress up as a stereotypical U of L fan.
Yep.
Line beard,
Lime
flat
beard.
bill,
Yep.
Crown Royal, back pocket.
That's a good outfit.
See, I like I was going to dress up as the stereotypical UK fan.
What's that look like?
Yeah, what's that look
Four
like?
teeth, cargo shorts, like their shirt
T-
has stains on it.
TJ's got a full set of
Hey,
teeth,
buddy.
don't you?
Hey, for my and I'm not judging. Have you been around all the parts of Jefferson County, big dog?
I have lived out there for most of my life.
And you're Bullitt County. There's some Louisville fans in Bullitt County, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of
Okay.
a lot of. And what was your stereotype of Kentucky fans? You were breaking up. Just one more time.
Very few teeth,
Okay.
dirty clothes, cargo shorts,
Cargo
just-
shorts,
probably flip flops.
flip flops. Okay, all right, and that's the UK fan.
Yes,
Okay, gotcha. Good deal.
I think you were describing more of the Shively area.
Whoa! I don't.
Anybody out in there in Shively wanna message
I
in?
think the people in Shively are just as likely to be wearing a shirt and tie listening to Kentucky Roll Call. All right. How about that, producer Matt?
How about that?
502-414-1450. Patrick Murphy says, howdy roll call, gang. Patrick Murphy here. Hopefully the Wildcats do get to Indianapolis, and I hope I can see them there. Maybe it could be against Purdue. Oh, well, we'd know we'd win that game. Already beat them. Easy peasy.
Would it make you
Chalk
nervous
that one up
to
for a
play
win?
them in the Final Four, knowing that we got them in the exhibition? And we've been sharing tape with Matt Painter.
In genuine all seriousness, no. I would not be worried to play Purdue again. And not specifically just because we beat them when they shot 3 of 19 or 3 of 29 or whatever their horrendous outside shooting numbers are. Purdue is good enough to beat Kentucky. They're good enough to go to a Final Four. They're good enough to have an amazing season. I think they match up poorly against UK. I think Kentucky can run them. Anything that Purdue doesn't want to do, Kentucky had options to do it, and Kentucky doesn't even really know what they are yet. And I know that Purdue doesn't either, but I think Kentucky's too athletic. I think they're too long, and I think that they can just put too many different people on Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman, too, for what it's worth, where it just makes it a difficult matchup. How about you? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I wouldn't be that worried about it. I think that we saw what Kentucky's able to do, and I think Kentucky's got a long way to go before they reach their peak. I mean, I think once this team really starts to understand the offense, Mark Pope consistently talks about guys taking a big jump in year 2 because they've gotten acclimated to what they like to do, the sets they like to run, the actions they like to get into. So by mid-season, by the end of this season, I think it's going to be a totally different looking Kentucky team, and especially when you add in Jalen Lowe and Jaden Quintons. And Otega Owe only played, 8 minutes?
Yeah, I briefly forgot that those guys were out. I do that from time to time. It's just it's going to be
Yeah. Well,
it's gonna
3
be-
of your 5 starters basically didn't play, and you kind of controlled the game. Not kind of, you did.
And that is one nice thing about the roster makeup is we have been snake bit by injuries.
Yep.
Unfortunately, this year is already off to a bad start and is no exception to the injury bug. But in previous years, some of the injuries felt pretty devastating. Even last year, when when it was Lamont Butler, it was like, okay, how are we going to survive that? Jackson Robinson, how are we going to survive that? They were tough. I would say that this year's, though, I'm not saying there's not. If you lost Otego away, things would not be great for Kentucky. But you just feel like you can take the injury hits more than in years past. So credit to Mark Pope and his staff for making that a reality.
Well, TJ, I was looking at Arkansas' schedule.
Okay.
As we were talking.
A little more hog talk here on your Tuesday.
Well, I'm interested in how the fan base,
Subscribe to Hogs Plus over there.
I thought you were like snoring, like as if this is boring to talk about the Hogs.
No. I just like making pig sounds.
No, I get it. Louisville travels to Bud Walton Arena on December 3rd for the ACC SEC Challenge. Now, I know who I'm pulling for in that game, and it's not Louisville. I do think there will be should I say strong percentage or whatever that means? I don't know if it'll be over 50%, but I think there's a lot of Kentucky fans who are going to find themselves pulling for the Cards on December 3rd to beat John Calipari and the Arkansas Razorbacks. And I get that in other parts of the state, maybe Louisville isn't as big of a rival, but I would find it like watching John Calipari beat Louisville is just I've gotten so used to that in my life since he left Memphis, at least. Do you think, TJ and Matt, do you guys think that there's going to be a strong portion of the Kentucky fan base that is going to want to see the Cards upset Arkansas?
Pete knows what I'm going to say, so take it away, producer Matt. I want to hear what you've got to say.
I hope not. I hope not. Because, like,
you don't want that.
How long is the hate watching of Arkansas going to go on for UK fans?
Well, I've wondered that too. But as we discussed in the first hour, I think if Arkansas, because that's after they play Michigan State and after they play Duke. If Arkansas wins both of those games and Arkansas looks like a legitimate threat in the SEC, there's going to be some people who are going to be tired of listening to John Calipari gloat about it. And I thought, honestly, that the hate had really subsided, that people were over hating on John Calipari, and some actually not pulling for him because Arkansas plays in the SEC, but wishing him well, not wanting him to fail again, I guess is what I would say. If they start winning, people are going to be rooting hard against him again. And that's the one game where like I can't wait to see how the Kentucky fan base responds.
And look, this is a game that I want to win like if it's number 2 on the list behind the Kentucky game, okay?
Oh, I bet.
With
Louisville fans must hate
Cal
John Calipari.
is the head coach, obviously, and then Kenny Payne is also on the staff. Like, I don't want to win this game. I want to win this game by 75. I want to end Cal and Kenny Payne's basketball careers in this basketball game.
There should be no ambivalence to this for Louisville fans. They have had Cal just beat them over and over and over.
I find it fascinating how much U of L wants to beat Arkansas because of Kenny Payne.
And that, too. Kenny Payne also beat Louisville over and over and over as Louisville's head coach.
Well, no, I guess it doesn't surprise me. I think I just kind of underestimated how much you could dislike an assistant from just an assistant standpoint. But there were some U of L fans that were like, all right, if Kentucky beats Arkansas, at least Kenny Payne loses a game last year before Arkansas unfortunately dominated Kentucky. But, it doesn't surprise me, but it's just they really, really want Kenny Payne to not be happy.
So when Mark Stoops inevitably leaves, and if that were a matchup to happen again, whether the head coach be John Summerall or Will Stein, whoever it is, you're not going to be like, God, I want to beat Mark Stoops so badly.
It's Mark Stoops versus a Kenny Payne comparison is flawed to Bolivia. I will wish Mark Stoops the best, genuinely. I will want to win, but I won't seek him out. If he's an assistant on Mississippi State, I'm not going to be like, oh, the Bulldogs, you're going to get it, and Stoopsy, you're going to feel our wrath. I'll just actually hope that he has his hands in the offense in some capacity, truthfully. But no. Stoops and Payne. I won't. I really won't. I will wish Stoops the best, especially if he cuts UK a better deal. Now, if he's a total goober about dragging his feet out the door and he says terrible things, then I reserve the right to change my mind. But if this ends amicably, then I will be okay with things, I think. Guess we'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it.
I am interested to see. We did have Kirby who messaged in, Peak, pass me whatever you're smoking. If anyone cheers for the Cards over Cal, then they are the worst people alive.
Peak brought it up during the break, and that was kind of my reaction, Kirby. I was just like, no, nobody's going to root for U of L. It's U of L.
You are, then if you really don't believe that.
What about all the fans
there'll
showing
be
out for the U of L
probably,
games?
A person maybe, but no, the 99% of the true blue, they will not root for U of L over an SEC opponent.
We'll see. I think that's going to be an interesting time for Kentucky fans. I know who I'm pulling for. I want Cal to win that game, and I assume he will. He's beaten them, 12 of the last 15 times?
Yeah.
So I do think Calipari will win it, and I know that I'll want him to. But I do think there's still Kentucky fans who especially as we saw, like Arkansas,
probably
these two exhibitions.
just Matt Jones. Probably just Matt. Probably just Matt. Outside of him, the majority, everybody's
that actually is that's a good one.
I would imagine. Patrick Murphy also says the number 25 UK men's soccer team upset 10th ranked Virginia in a 1-0 triumph on Monday.
Boom!
West Virginia, right? Pretty sure it was West Virginia. That they are Sun Belt foes. Kentucky men's soccer plays in the Fun Belt. Because there's no SEC men's soccer. There is SEC women's soccer. Doesn't seem totally fair to me.
Can we move the football team to the Sun Belt?
But they do. I think Kentucky is at top of the Sun Belt as well. But UK is remember they were undefeated? What was it, like 2 years ago? Or was it last year? And I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Ended up falling short of the Final Four. But they've been right there knocking at the door. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the draw goes their way that they have a big November run or December, whenever the tournament runs.
6-1 in conference, so they haven't tied any of their conference games, and they're on a 3-game winning streak, 9-2-3 overall.
Always loved covering UK men's soccer back in the day, back in the old student newspaper day. They would just actually appreciate you, which is not always the case for media members in UK athletics. Certainly not me. Another texter says a bunch of our fans are adult babies. You can't use them as examples. That's a good point.
Well, I kind of said something like that during the break. That it is what it is. I may have mentioned this yesterday. I've told so many people I can't remember where I said it, but the Tennessee fan base in football is Kentucky's fan base in basketball. Like, we mirror each other. Like, we're very emotional and very loud on social media. It's a very big fan base, TJ, and I think that's where Kentucky fans get a bad rep, because you take 5% of millions of people, and it looks like a lot of people are really bad fans. But regardless, and I've said the same thing about Tennessee fans, I appreciate the passion, and I hope that never dies from either fan base. It's more fun this way. It's more fun when you care this much, and like I said, Kentucky fans are going to be obnoxious this year, so we're just going to have to deal with that. You're going to have to deal with that, Matt.
I'm already dealing with it right now on the show.
He's living it in the moment. And the beautiful thing is November 11th is quite literally not far away at all. We are 2 weeks away, everybody, from the Cats versus the Cards on the hardwood. So
stupid.
Well said. It's like the Bloods in the Crypt meme coming to life. Both producer Matt and I are holding up the red and blue bandana, agreeing that this is dumb playing this game as early as we are. But that's the reality. There's nothing that we can do to change it. Trust me, I tried. It's here. And that's honestly why when we have these discussions, Stephen Peak and producer Matt here on Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio, that Purdue game matters, because guess what is in 2 weeks? A game that matters, and that one matters on Selection Sunday.
Louisville, well, maybe they should be running an offense by then. Maybe they won't.
Hopefully they do.
And that's another thing that, when producer Matt says, yeah, we look like in that exhibition game, we treated it like an exhibition, and Kansas was a little bit more with it, that you really nowhere to hide. You got to be with it here in a couple of weeks, and it really matters. And
can we start a movement on the show right now?
Sure.
I've been wanting Kentucky and U of L to do this for years. Can all three of us come in? You guys wear all blue, I'll wear all red, and we force the universities to go red v blue in these games?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Are we doing that for November 11th?
Oh,
You want to do it every day?
Every day, leading up to the game, every day.
I do have all blue pants, but not enough to wear every single day.
I'm so tired of seeing these other schools look cultured on their football field and in their basketball court, looking like having a fun time, and we just do the same boring white v red, white v blue.
So I have it on pretty good authority that this is not surprising to anybody, unfortunately, that this is a UK thing, that UK is the ones not doing it. Now, that being said, and this was told by, I've got it confirmed on both sides, but it was the UK side who had said that, but nothing, U of L can just, nothing's stopping them from wearing all red at Kroger Field. We tell them what we're wearing and then request that they wear, not a dark color, but we can't force what they show up in. We can't stop them from wearing that. So it is supposedly a little U of L as well, but U of L has supposedly reached out and said, "Hey, let's do this," and UK wouldn't answer the call or whatever. It never moved forward.
I don't see it one time.
Why can these other colleges do it? Why can UCLA and USC do it?
Wasn't it? It's not BYU, like it's just
Houston
that did it a couple weeks ago.
BYU, Utah, right?
Utah.
Yeah, the Holy War.
I ask these questions all the time about different things. Why can other schools do this, but we can't? I ask it once a week at least.
And also, I'm just sick of Kentucky losing in the All Blacks. I think it's a solid look, but I just think we're going to get our ass kicked every time we wear them. Because every time we wear them, we get our ass kicked.
Is that true?
Okay. Oh, yeah. Horrible record in those things.
When's the first time they brought them out? Was that Mississippi State game
I don't know.
About a decade ago?
And especially one with the embracing birds on the helmet, which I think looks great.
I
like it. I like it.
You like that logo?
I do like
the Kansas State logo, or not Kansas? Yeah, Kansas State. Wasn't it?
It's unique enough.
It was October 29th, 2011, during a blackout game against Mississippi State is when they first used them.
Nice. How'd they do?
Well, it doesn't say. Oh wait, they lost 28-16.
Oh, we were in the game. All right.
Head coach Joker Phillips, who wanted to generate excitement for the game.
Oof. What is that? That was the final year of Joker Phillips, right?
I think it was 2012 was his final year.
Okay, and then
Stoops came in in 2013. Stoops came in 2013. Anyways, get your text into the Game Day Men's Health text line 502-414-1450. I'll never hate Cal, says one texter. Do I dislike the portion of our fan base who hates him? Yep, I do. Yeah, there's going to be some people that just dislike him, but I don't think it's the majority. I think most are, hey, I appreciate what he did.
I also appreciate him leaving the way he did.
I'd probably openly root for him if he was out west or if just totally away from Kentucky. In the SEC, though, I don't – and Arkansas fans are slightly obnoxious, so I don't want him to do too well.
Yeah, because you obviously don't want you want to win the SEC, but I do think last year was an anomaly. I think it was just looking at that roster and seeing, oh well, that would have been Kentucky's roster basically, minus Jaden Quinton's, and you couldn't watch them go to a Final Four. Like I wouldn't have been able to take that knowing that we just ran this guy out basically, and then he takes that first Arkansas team to a Final Four. No, we couldn't have that. It was very easy to pull against them last year and very easy to not want to see that Arkansas team do well.
Oh, yeah, we got to win the breakup. Like, we've got to get to a title. We got to get to a Final Four. We've got to do these things before he does.
Chin Coleman's still on their staff. They shouldn't be that hard to beat.
And ultimately, I bet that are like they seem like a wagon right now. They seem really good. I love their pieces. They're freakishly long. They're good defensively. They're athletic. But
this is a Calipari team.
They will have some shooting concerns.
That's a Calipari team.
I think when you get enough tape on these guys, other coaches will make adjustments that their staff will not make, and they will hit a wall at some point.
That is the reason.
Ever since Robick left the staff, UK used to be the team that would excel in February and March. We've got tape on these guys. I know how we're going to beat them with our freak talent and also being smart. Watch us go. And then at post-Robick, and you can obviously, it's not, you can see what I'm alluding to. Post Robic, it was, and sometimes it was injuries, and that's just out of your control. But when March came around, Kentucky was not playing their best basketball.
That was the whole thing under Cal. Wait until March. And I know he said that in his final season. We're built for March. And those teams, you're right, they would just get better and better. But a lot of that wasn't just that the players were getting better, but yes, it was that John Robic, the film guy. And if you read Calipari's book, Players First, he says, opening paragraph, by the way, John Robic, he's my X's and O's guy. He's my guy who goes through tape. That was never on Calipari to do any of that. And then from what I understood in the last couple of years at Kentucky, Cal also wanted to be X's and O's guy and didn't really want to listen to some of the KT Turners, like the younger assistants who were like, I'm getting the hell out of here. I don't know what is going on in this program right now. And I, for Calipari's sake, and I was saying this last year when I was actually kind of starting to feel bad for him, was, dude, cut these guys. Like, Chin Coleman shouldn't be on your staff anymore. And some of these dudes, are they just accepting are they just taking a paycheck? Like, what do some of your staff members do?
Lexington.
What was Bruiser Flint doing?
A wise guy once questioned if UK Athletics was just a jobs program. A lot of people
were saying.
A lot of people getting a lot of money, not seemingly getting a lot of results though. But that person not in Lexington anymore. Yeah, I think that'll be an issue. We may talk a little more exhibition basketball. Louisville plays Bucknell tonight. Producer Matt, what do you want to see from the Cards? What would get you a little nervous?
I want to see the interior play at all, basically, because they were like non-existent against Kansas. So I want to see that, and I want to see more output from Michael Brown. I want to see something more positive.
Yeah, again, it is still only October, but if Bucknell is in that game, if U of L's still not looking too organized, I'd be slightly concerned. Again, Kentucky, Louisville, 2 weeks from tonight, 8 o'clock that game will be at the Yum Center on November 11th. I can't believe, first off, October's already over. November's already here. 2025's down to its last 2 months. And college basketball. Woo, baby, we're back. All right, we've got a lot more to get to. One final segment, Kentucky Roll Call, coming up next here on the Big X.
Miak! I bet you thought I couldn't find any this time of year. Well, I'm a little too resourceful for you, a little too light on my feet. So come on, eat Miak and die.
What?
That was Ernest Scared Stupid. He was throwing the Miak on the monster.
Okay.
All right. That was fun. Welcome back. One final segment, Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio. Yeah, the MIAC, the conference.
The bit is he, like, met this, I don't know if she was, like, a witch or whatever, because there's this monster destroying the town. And she's like, it's her accent, you need milk. So at the end of the movie, when he goes to fight the monster, the way she says it, she says, you need some MIAC. So he buys MIAC, whatever that is, and tries to kill him with it and does not work.
Ernest accidentally unleashes an ancient troll that turns kids into wooden dolls in a small town. With Halloween chaos breaking out, it's up to him, armed with meal and pure goofiness, to save the day. It's campy, ridiculous, and a cult classic, especially around Halloween, filmed in Kentucky.
Didn't know
Whoa!
that. Did not
Who
know
got
that.
in?
Wow. Where in Kentucky? You'll find out in just 3 seconds. Ernest Scared Stupid was filmed primarily around Nashville, Tennessee.
So not Kentucky at all. Not even close.
In central Kentucky, with several key scenes shot near Lexington.
Oh, okay.
Most notable parts in the movie were filmed. All right, this is where AI you just want. Skip.
How are there so many of these movie fans?
There's so many of them.
I don't believe it, Ben Shot. He's pulling against 200 horsepower. I put it in reverse. How about a bumper sandwich, booger lips?
Okay. Ernest Scared Stupid was filmed almost entirely in Nashville, Tennessee, and surrounding areas, not Lexington. Suburban neighborhoods around Nashville used for Briarville, a local farm and woods outside. So we were lied to.
Okay.
We were
Ernest
lied
Saves Christmas is the best one.
to. We were lied to. You know somebody who wouldn't lie to you, and that is Lane Kiffin. I was going to maybe force it into an ad read. We'll give the ads their proper read
What's Lane Kiffin cursing about?
At a later time. Here's what Lane Kiffin is telling the truth about. Lane Kiffin's the man. Here's the latest.
Your thoughts following the game, Coach Brent Venable said you felt like he had the better team. Just your overall thoughts on that.
That's an interesting take. That's a hot take. You have a better team. I wouldn't have thought that people watching would say that. I felt that we won at their place, and whether that as a defensive head coach you would normally wish for, and won by 8 points. And I think we left a lot out there. I think we should have won by a couple scores. So I don't know how he evaluated that game, that they were the better team. I mean, we had way more yards, 21 first downs to 14, and we played 87 plays of offense, and they had 1 sack and didn't force any turnovers. That's a interesting take, but whatever he needs to say.
And also following up to road trips
Maybe
to
they
Georgia.
had the better team last year too when we beat them. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Following up on the road against Georgia.
We had the better team in Oklahoma when we beat them 55-19 in the national championship. Maybe you had the better team at Clemson when we beat them 45-40 in the national championship at Alabama.
Dude, he's the man.
I love this guy.
All right, forget about hams for the rest of your life, Kraft family. And what do we got to do to get Lane Kiffin in Lexington? But
Not going to happen. I would love
he
it,
is
though.
the hottest name. He's mentioned with every job, and he's probably the most wanted man in all of college football. That was him just absolutely annihilating Oklahoma head coach Brent Venables, who said that Oklahoma had the better team after the 34-26 loss to Ole Miss in Norman.
I love
over
how
the weekend.
literal he takes that too. It's just coaches talking. It doesn't mean anything. Like, he can say we had the better team. It does. That's just something you say to your media and your fans, right? I mean, and I just love how Lane Kiffin takes that stuff. Big Lane Kiffin fan over here.
I love that he specifically waited for the reporters to ask more questions to continue his statement. Like, he sat there in silence for like 15 seconds, and then as soon as somebody says something, he's like, maybe they had.
Yeah. I like that.
That was great. Well
Where do you
done
think
by
he's gonna
Lane
be coaching?
Kiffin. That's where the discussion's going to go.
There you go.
I wanted to bring it to On 3, your employee or
Right, employer.
is
Yes.
whatever it may be. They came out with an article of the best available jobs. Who was it? Was it Pete Nakos that
Sounds like a Pete Nakos.
that came out with his no, Andy Staples.
It definitely sounds like an Andy Staples.
Andy
actually.
Staples came out with his best available head coaching jobs, and we're going to have a UK tie with this. And again, get your text into the Game Day Men's Health text line 502-414-1450. Taco Tuesday at Salsaritas, 3 locations in the Louisville area, Middletown, St. Matthews, and they're out in Bullitt County, I-65. UK and U of L fans, doesn't matter how many teeth you have, Salsaritas will be delicious for all of you all. You can do their catering, Halloween right around the corner when the trick-or-treaters are coming up to the door. Treat yourselves to no tricks but the wildly addictive chips of Salsaritas. Download that app. They'll bring it right to your front door. We're having a Halloween party and just going to do trick-or-treating in the neighborhood on Friday. Salsaritas. They give you so many chips, we may just give out chips. That's not a bad idea. They're catering. They just go above and beyond.
There's like
with
3
their
bags
chips.
of chips in the kitchen in here.
Are there really?
Yes.
We haven't been munching down on wildly addictive Salsaritas chips this entire show?
Saw him like during one of the breaks.
Dude, devastating. Also, great news, though, for my way out of the studio. So, Salsaritas, they will treat any party. Doesn't have to be Halloween. Doesn't have to be spooky. They're great. Download that app, though, and go get some lunch if you haven't had any lunch or dinner today. Okay, according to Andy Staples, he says LSU is the best available job. Scooch just texted, said, don't touch the chips. They've been there for...
that was fast.
He wants them for himself. Okay.
I do remember walking in here, like, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday, and there was just Salsaritas chips sitting on the, like, shelf in here, and he was like, don't eat those! And I was like, I was just asking about him. I wonder who left them in here.
Yeah, he actually kind of turns into like a bridge troll when it comes to Salsaritas trips. The only way that you can eat them is if you complete one of his riddles. So just,
Are you giving 3 pieces of gold?
Yeah, it's just best to stay clear altogether. All right, let's see what we've got going on here. Andy Staples has LSU the best job available. Florida number 2, Penn State number 3, Arkansas the Hogs number 4, Virginia Tech the Hokies number 5, Oklahoma State number 6, UCLA 7. People forget about UCLA. Number 8, Stanford. Number 9, the Beavers of Oregon State. Number 10, Colorado State. Number 11, Blazers of UAB. And number 12, Kent State. Worth remembering, those may be all the jobs that are open. Actually, I think there's a couple more. But let's just focus there on the top 5. Do you all think Andy Staples got it right? Is LSU the best available job? Is it a better job than Florida and Penn State?
Well,
Yes.
It's subjective. LSU, Florida, Penn State, those are all, in theory, schools that should compete for a national championship, teams that are going to have access to money and resources, obviously. And I think who's the top coach? I mean, it also depends on who the coach is and what fit they would have. Who's the top? Is Lane Kiffin at the top of the chart?
Oh, yeah. It all seems to
So
start
then
with Lane
LSU.
Kiffin. Now, there's probably going to be a
He would
surprise
kill
thrown
it in
into all
Baton Rouge. He would kill it there.
All right, but is that a better job than Florida?
It is.
Yes.
For Lane Kiffin, yes.
Well, we're not going for
I think
Lane
it's just
Kiffin.
better
Well,
in
I'm just-
general.
if he's the top-
I get what avenue you're going down,
Right,
but
okay.
let's keep it simple because it could be subjective, and who knows, there could be a surprise candidate out there, and that's the beauty of college. Well, maybe it's the beauty, or maybe it's the beast, but of college athletics currently right now is if somebody doesn't like their nil setup, you could be at Georgia and say, you know what, Georgia's a better job than Georgia and LSU. Let me South Carolina. You could be at Georgia and say, you know what? South Carolina has promised me this unbelievable nil setup. They've promised me that I can hire this guy who's going to do this, that, and the other. You're probably not going to see that, a Georgia to South Carolina jump, but I bet you're going to have some big surprises in this cycle with some of these openings, LSU, Florida, Penn State, where you're going to have a coach who's not happy with their nil setup at a pretty prestigious job, and they're going to jump to what we consider either a step down or a parallel move.
Well,
I can't pinpoint who it's going to be, but I bet you it's going to happen.
Well, if you look at Arkansas being considered the fourth best job, and do you think that will happen when you have the AD Hunter Yurachek saying we can't win a national championship here? Didn't he basically say? I don't know. Basically say that. I think he said that.
Yeah, he had some silly quote like that.
So that's to me. That's not the fourth best job. Well, maybe it is. I'm looking at the other ones he has here. Where does Kentucky land in any of these? Now he's obviously doing vacancies.
Yes. So let's say Kentucky was open. Let's say Mitch Barnhart wised up and did what was right.
Is it a better job than Virginia Tech that he has at 5?
I would have it number 4 behind Penn State. I'd have it above Arkansas. Justin Rowland of Cats Illustrated and On3, everybody works for On3 in one capacity or another, it appears. He had Kentucky behind Arkansas. He had UK behind Arkansas and ahead of Virginia Tech. Producer Matt, noted U of L fan, where would you have Kentucky?
Behind Arkansas.
Behind Arkansas, you'd have them where Rowland would have them. I would have them a spot above. Just less pressure at UK than Arkansas.
I agree with that.
And I believe that like Arkansas probably has better. I don't know. They probably have more fans going to their game.
Yeah.
They probably have a better nil setup for their football program than Kentucky does. But Arkansas, if you get a little success there, if you start winning 8 games, they're going to expect you to be in the ballpark with the LSUs and the Alabamas and the Auburns. Well. Their fans will expect that. And then you've got to get there. Kentucky, I think you can wade in more mediocre waters for longer.
If Mark Stoops had gone 7-5 last year, then we're not talking about him not being the coach next season.
Yes.
And
6-6.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's
5-7 potentially.
5. If he would have gone 7-5 last year, 4-8 would have been.
Feel like we're playing
whatever. You're just basically pushing it 1 year further, right? Because even though fans were getting a little frustrated with back-to-back 7-5 seasons coming off that 2021 10-3, I still Kentucky fans you got something to cheer about in both of those seasons, beating Florida both those years and beating Louisville in 22. So yeah, that's why Kentucky, I think, is the better job than Arkansas. And I think better job than Virginia Tech. You're coaching in the SEC. The other thing is this Kentucky football thing pays you pretty well. I mean,
yes.
I don't think the new coach is getting $9 million, but you're obviously going to get a pretty good pay bump. John Summerall, where do you think he would look to land at any of these top spots?
Well, I've got a John Summerall take. It's
Wherever
hard,
Lane Kiffin doesn't go.
It's hard
exactly.
hard when we're not in the same room with producer Matt. But producer Matt, you were going to make some commentary on the coaches or the job opening.
I was just going to say that I'm fully bought in that the Arkansas opening is not even going to be an opening at the end of the season. They're just going to keep by Petrino.
Oh, I would be surprised by that.
I wouldn't. I mean, they went from losing to Memphis by 1, getting blown out by Notre Dame. They still lost, but losing to Tennessee by 3. They put up 31 points in that game. 42 against Texas A&M, the third best team in the country, and then put up 24 against Auburn. He's an offensive coach who fired everyone.
It ended so badly at U of L, though.
But
I just don't know how
you could
spin that to the fan base.
If you weren't going to let him, why would you allow him to literally empty the closet on the entire program as interim head coach?
Well, because you're getting rid of it anyways. The new coach is going to bring in his guys anyways, so it's whatever.
I will bet they keep him.
I'll make you a lunch bet on that or a dinner bet. I'll do a little bet with you on that. I think they could do worse, and they very well may do worse than Bobby Petrino. But he has quit on several jobs now. He was fired basically in disgrace or let go in disgrace at Arkansas already. It is just wild that he's already back, though. I mean, the world, if we're not living in a simulation, it's pretty crazy how many just wild things happen in this crazy world of ours. But we'll see, producer Matt. I appreciate the hot take. And then, Pete, to go back to your question, what I'm worried about is this bidding war for Lane Kiffin, which I think, unfortunately, for Ole Miss, they may just not have enough. If they would have just been one of these jobs, he probably would have been okay.
Yep.
But the fact that it's going to be a bidding war of some of these major programs, and I actually think Florida's better than LSU. You should have national championship expectations of both. Recruiting, I'm considering all that stuff a wash. technically it may be a slight advantage to one or than other and another. But I'm going to actually give the fact that there's a little bit more going on at Florida, where if you win 9 and 8 games, you can get away with that longer than at LSU winning 9 or 8 games. LSU, it is strictly national championships. Florida, it is national championships, but if you're good enough, they're a bit more understanding. So that's why I have Florida slightly above that, just for slight job security's sake, because they will get you. I mean, Ed Orgeron won the championship, and it wasn't but, 2 years that they were like, all right, dude, you've lost us. You're out of here. And
but things also, there were lots of other things, I think, going on with that.
Yeah.
But is Whit Weeks, is he still, or who's the LSU player that was dating?
Weeks. Yeah. He's still there.
There you go. There's a connection there in Baton Rouge.
So here's what I really fear, is that this bidding war for Lane Kiffin is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe he ends up staying at Ole Miss, but I think whoever loses that is going to say, all right, let's just go get a guy who has won everywhere that he's been. He's a proven head coach. We know, he's not Lane Kiffin, but he's maybe the defensive Lane Kiffin, the next Lane Kiffin, and he's steady, and you just know that he's going to be successful. John Summerall.
Yeah, he's the hottest.
He's going to be coach. The follow-up, because nobody's going to be mad at hiring Summerall. I maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe.
No. And honestly, even though people have said LSU does not like to go after these group of 5 coaches, it's too big of a brand in their eyes.
I think somebody in Florida said that too, is they can't go group of 5 either.
But what are you going to do? Keep cycling through the same coaches who failed everywhere else, or have had some kind of this minor success?
That's what I'm interested to see, is the retread of where does Franklin end up?
Yeah,
because he's going to get another job. Napier, he's won a lot of these places. Brian Kelly, is he done for good? I mean, I can't imagine. And by the way, it's always telling to me when somebody's time ends in a job. Usually people start to talk, and it can be positive or it can be negative. And the Brian Kelly negative stories, oh my gosh, if they're true, he seemingly is
players coming out just saying stuff.
Not good.
That's kind of what happens in these situations too, right?
Yeah, but Brian Kelly's are pretty bad. They're worth the Google.
The one thing for me for this,
but I'm worried that Summerall's going to get gobbled up because he's not Lane Kiffin, but he's.
And if you're an LSU fan, you're obviously somewhat familiar with the Tulane program down there in New Orleans, right? Mm-hmm. You have to have seen John Summerall's press conferences. Adam Luckett said, if I had to make an SEC coach in a lab, it would come out John Summerall. Matt, what were you going to say?
So I was going to say the one thing for me for this is the coaching carousel this season is obviously absolutely insane. It's one of the craziest I've ever seen. Every single day that Mark Stoops is employed by Kentucky, it gets harder for Kentucky to find a good coach to come back because there's just more and more openings now. So Kentucky moves down the board every single day that this opening stays open because other people are making phone calls. And I'm not saying Mitch isn't.
We need to go get our Louisville quarterback to be our coach.
Well, why would a coach pick Kentucky that doesn't have an opening right now over LSU and Florida who have already committed? Hey, they're gone. We need you now.
Well, there is a reason that John Summerall could do that, and I don't know if it's the best reason, but he is tapped in at least somewhat with how the boosters are at Kentucky. He's familiar with the program and all that stuff.
You do have a tie there. But
I don't think that's enough. I just don't think that is enough of a reason to pass up a job. And Summerall came out with the whole thing. Was that yesterday, or where he basically said, "I don't want any distractions. I want to talk about this stuff at the end of the season." He's saying all the correct things that you need to say. He did say I like coaching here at Tulane. There's been other jobs offered to me that I turned down. I like being at this school. I don't know if I'll be here 25 years from now. But I do like where I'm at. I mean, of course, you have to say that right now. He's playing for something, right? I mean, they only have one loss, correct?
Yeah, they're projected. They're not the projected Group of 5 squad. I think it's still Memphis.
Yeah, but right.
But they're up there.
Yeah, and there's several games left in the season for Memphis to maybe take an L and for Tulane to slide into that spot. But I do think that Kentucky's gonna. I think they're gonna miss on John Summerall. I think that the window's gonna close, and that really sucks because it felt like when he was at Troy and had that rolling, he was going to be Kentucky's next coach. And it felt like, oh, easy for Mitch Barnhart. There you go. There's your next coach when Stoops is done. And I think they're going to miss out on that. We might have to go way out west to Eugene to get our coach.
Well, Jeff Brom's name gets mentioned in these coaching searches, and his name gets thrown around.
I just don't. Do you see it?
Producer Matt, what's your fear there?
None at all.
All right,
Yeah, I don't think he's leaving. Do you?
According to Pete Nakos, a popular name with the Florida opening, Jeff Brom has consistently proven he can win with less. Wow.
I'm sure Florida wants him.
Shots fired at U of L.
That's like me saying I want to go meet Dua Lipa after the show. That doesn't mean I'm doing it.
Hey, you've got a girlfriend, producer.
I'm just
Okay.
saying to meet her.
He
buddy.
just said he wanted
All right.
Maybe I want some more of TJ's gum, but he doesn't have any for me.
MEET.
Dua Lipa, get out of here. The bit's over.
Dua Lipa, stop! I'm doing a show right now. Stop!
He led Purdue to the Big Ten Conference title and has Louisville currently ranked in the top 20 of the AP poll. This season has been highlighted by an upset win. He's viewed as one of the top offensive minds. But, all right, you got Pete Nakos, that's nothing, man. But he's a popular name with the Florida opening.
I'm sure he's going to be a popular name with everybody, but I mean, he's not. I don't think he's leaving Louisville. I think I honestly would be shocked. There would have to be something in the Louisville athletic department, something else happening that would make him want to leave.
With Summerall, he says his name's expected to be popular at Auburn if it opens up, and Ole Miss if Kiffin does decide to leave. He's a blended of mix of portal and high school recruiting to form his rosters with minimal dollars. It'll be fascinating. My guess is Summerall will be Kentucky's next coach.
Okay.
And that's just blind optimism.
My guess is us three with TJ offensive coordinator, me as the head coach because I'm short enough, and then Stephen Peak as the defensive coordinator.
Oh, we're going to lose a lot of games. Let me just, TJ, you got to get us in the end zone a lot. I know nothing about defense.
Won't happen. Let's go back to the text line. Zach Hodge here. Love listening to you all since I got my new iPhone. It doesn't always connect to my car. Here's my thoughts on U of L basketball. I think this is for the Rutherford show. Cats should go after John Gruden.
Man, why does John Gruden's name come up all the time?
That stuff came up because of what he said at Arkansas, obviously, a while back. But, they've asked him, 100 times, and he just keeps giving the same answer. And I was like, if somebody wanted to, I'd do it or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, nobody's asking John Gruden then.
Oh, that wasn't for the Rutherford show. He said, I expect a butt whipping from you guys, unfortunately. I don't know. I don't think Kentucky. You think Kentucky's going to blow Louisville out on November 11th? I think it will be a close game.
No, I will take a 1-point win.
Yeah.
I'll take any sort of
1-0.
win.
I'll take
Louisville is good. They're fine. I agree with producer Matt. I thought your summary was pretty spot on. That they look they did not look organized in an exhibition game. That's okay because it doesn't count on the record. But it was just a little alarming how unprepared they looked. I'm guessing that won't be an issue for the UK game in 2 weeks. They'll be ready to rock and roll. So it'll be a good game. And it's a rivalry game. Weird things can happen. It's the beginning of the year. How healthy will Jalen Lowe be in that game as well? He should be fine. But no, Kentucky's not going to run away with it. All right, well, let me go ahead and read the text if it is for us. Here's my thoughts on U of L basketball. Going to be a very long season. Cards are going to be in the top 25 for no more than 3 weeks, and we're not going to have a chance against UK in 2 weeks. I expect a butt whooping. I'll have more detailed prediction tonight after I watch them in person, but I will say that I was not surprised with Mikel's performance. He's a top 25 recruit that goes to Louisville. They always disappoint. Regardless, you guys are great, and I love you all. Cats should go after Gruden. He says he's doing a little reverse psychology. It's already 1:59.
Yep.
I know.
Goodness
Crazy.
gracious.
Oh, we got some lyrics.
Well, we have Jacob Polachek tomorrow?
No, Jacob had to cancel.
What?
I know. The mics
have
have
gotten
taken
us.
over.
Oh, that's very disappointing to hear. All right, we'll get something for you all tomorrow. Everybody have a great Tuesday. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio.
He did them on